Hi there, namaste, and welcome back to another spiritualistic pick a card reading. Today's reading is very special because it's in collaboration with Tay over from The Goddess at the Unknown. So when you're done watching this video, go send my girl some love, or if you're coming here from her video, welcome and thank you for being here. I wanted to do a topic that I don't usually do, and our goal of this reading was to help empower you, help you stand in your power. We wanted this to be really all about the solar plexus and giving you some love while we're at it too. So the topic that I am channeling today for you guys is going to be, what is the taste that you leave in other people's mouths? Proverbially, of course. So I'm going to take a look at the kind of taste, the essence that you leave behind. And Tay is going to be taking a look at what is so hypnotizing, magnetizing, alluring about you. So hopefully you will get some nice information, have a nice little hype session from our readings, and maybe learn something new about yourself. This is kind of interesting because it is in kind of an imprint of your energy, the external perspective of your energy. And my readings are usually the other way around, from the inside out. So I'm really excited to tap into this new topic. And so, to my regular viewers, thank you for being here and checking this out and sharing the space with me. As always, I'm sending you lots of love. The timestamps are listed below in the description box as always, as well as the link to Tay's reading, my Follow Your Heart Oracle deck, my crystal jewelry, my personal readings, my energy work, Reiki sessions, and much, much more, my books, all of that good stuff. Anyway, please take a deep breath, drawing the inhale up your spine, creating a clear and open channel. And as you exhale, allow yourself to come into clear knowing which group or groups has your message in it for you today. We have group number 1 on the left with this raw emerald crystal. Group number 2 in the center with this raw meteorite tektite crystal. And group number 3 on the right with this raw tiger's eye. Thank you so much for being here. And once more, timestamps are below in the description box. I'll see you at your reading. Namaste. Hi there, group number 1. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today, we're taking a look at what is your essence? What is the taste you leave behind in people's mouths? You selected the first group, and this beautiful raw emerald crystal, we just take a moment to appreciate this. I have been on a real emerald kick lately, and raw emeralds are just one of the beauties of nature to me. They are so gorgeous, and I love that you can see like the raw geode on the outside and the authentic crystal on the inside. It's so beautiful. There's this energy to you where the energy you leave behind, first and foremost, is 1 in a million. It is something that is very rare and hard to find, and might seem a little bit rough around the edges, but it's very multifaceted. There's kind of this energy of being in on something, being maybe in on the know. This is kind of giving like a past life regression like practitioner, or someone who's done a lot of past life regression. This doesn't have to be the case, but this can mean that you seem to be in on something. There's kind of this scorpionic, kind of Sagittarian energy, and it's also kind of drawing me towards this energy of what is the difference between the beautiful crystal on the inside and the rough geode on the outside? And the answer is pressure and time. And so there's kind of this energy where maybe your intuition is super on point. Maybe your aesthetic is always super on point. You might be right up on the trends to the point where you are wearing something and people look at you like, what are you doing? Why are you wearing that? And then a few weeks later, everyone sees that shirt out. There's kind of this energy where you seem to have some sort of knowing, whether this is like intuitive knowing, or you have some sort of like you're just in on something, you're in the loop. So this can be that you are in a circle or in the knowing or have strong intuition where you're at a place where you always shine and people definitely trust your judgment. If it looks a little rough around the edges, it's only because they haven't seen the crystallized part of it yet. For example, when you look at this emerald, if you saw this like on a hike, you'd be like, oh, cool, there's a white rock. But it's an emerald. And emeralds are rare. They're beautiful. They're filled with love, ancient wisdom, unconditional love, gratitude. And they're also showing me the Akashic records as well. So this doesn't have to get spiritual, but this is spiritualistic. So there's this energy here where maybe you are very well versed in the Akashic realm, the Akashic records, or perhaps you are just someone who just has this limitless amount of information to you. You can be the kind of person who maybe you spend your extra time studying. So you're the kind of person that people go to and they ask, or they know that they can ask if they're curious about, hey, why is my right shoulder feeling kind of creaky today? And you'll say, oh, it's because of your spleen meridian is a little bit overworked, and you could afford to do some of this movement under the sign of this. For example, you could be the kind of person that's like, you know what? I know you wouldn't put those two colors together, but what if you break it up with this? And you'll be able to see that this is an upcoming trend, because I can predict that. There's kind of this energy about you where the taste that you leave in other people's mouths. Group number one is one that is unforgettable. And it's kind of like when you start following your intuition and your intuition tells you, hey, don't go there. And then you go there and you find out why. And you kind of learn to follow your intuition by not listening to your intuition enough to figure out, oh, that's what that voice is. I should start listening to it. And then you listen to it, and then it starts blessing you and putting you in the right place at the right time and helping you build and helping you grow and evolve. There's kind of this energy that is just like that according to you, group number one. Now, with this energy, it can be that you might be perhaps in the public eye. Maybe you're kind of someone who people are like, oh, I want to have group number one on my team, or it looks good to be around group number one. There's this energy where if you are in someone's life, they are maybe in an inner circle, or they're in the know, or they, perhaps for some of you, they're connected to your energy. So they have access to gifts and abilities and healing and power and knowledge and all these things. The taste that you leave in people's mouths. Number one, we have Through the Looking Glass. This is my Follow Your Heart Oracle, by the way, for funsies. I love it. Calling in manifestations. Okay. Yeah, some of you are seen as someone who, and follow your heart. Oh, past life regression, hey. Okay. Group one, you are seen as somebody who can see the unseen, know the unknown or unknowable, or what was once perceived to be that. You also are somebody who follows your heart and follows your intuition. I'm hearing heart-mind coherence very strongly. If you're unfamiliar with what that is, it's where what your intuition and therefore your rational thinking brain, because there's no blockage there, and your heart are telling you the same thing. So everything that you do, the information you have, the emotions that you have, your intuition and your rational mind, they're all on the same page. So this is coming out in your reading as a taste that you leave in other people's mouths. You can be the kind of person where you connect with somebody and maybe they're not used to diving into past lives, but they immediately remember you. You can be the kind of person who sees people for their souls instead of for their body. And because of this, you might also awaken this in other people because they haven't yet been seen so deeply. Also, now, I don't know if this is your truth or not, but the taste that you leave behind in other people's mouths, group number one, is also that you can pretty much make someone else's dream come true. Like you have a little magical wand and someone can come to you and they have 3 wishes and you can just make it happen for them, which is kind of leading me to believe that you are like, you have some pull, you have some leverage, maybe you have some spiritual gifts and abilities out there, maybe you have an audience, maybe you know the right people, maybe you have good resources. There's something here where the taste that you leave in people's mouths is, oh, I would like a slice of that. So with that being said, you probably have to do a lot of work in order to honor yourself, be careful about who is around you, and also continue to follow that heart-mind coherence. I would say blindly, but it's not blindly, and entirely faithfully. And it's something that has brought you to where you are. And the taste that you leave in other people's mouths is that you have something phenomenal to offer because you are able to see things from almost every perspective here. Because we have Through the Looking Glass, which is a reference to the traditional Alice in Wonderland, as well as a reference to like a kaleidoscopic vision. That's what I was channeling when I wrote this card anyway. And with Calling in Manifestations and Follow Your Heart, it's a little bit, you might be perceived as just a magnet, when in reality, you might be a go-getter. And one leads to the other, eventually. We all have masculine and feminine energies, electric and magnetic energies, because we are electromagnetic beings, regardless of gender. There's this energy here. You know that your heart is magnetic, your thoughts are electric, and so what you put out, you get back. You're also not your body, you're also not your mind. So you're always constantly transforming. The taste that you leave behind in other people's mouths is that you have a very either good mindset or that your mind is quiet all of the time. Your intuition is strong, you know what you feel, you honor that. It's like you know who you are, and you also might know who other people are better than they do, or at least that's how they're perceiving you. And Spirit is showing me the scene from The Devil Wears Prada where Miranda Priestley is like, you think that you're rebelling against fashion by wearing that outfit, but what you don't know is that you're wearing an outfit that was perfectly cultivated for you by the people in this very room. And so it's kind of giving this energy of like, you don't even know what you don't know. Like, just being so on top of it. It's kind of giving, it's giving like almost elusive and elite vibes, but there's also this energy of kind-hearted energy to it too. It's almost like there's kind heart, there's a real emerald in there, but you might notice the geode on the outside first. Only because you have to either know how to identify an emerald to acquire an emerald, or you might even see it and not realize that it is an emerald, because what you might be used to seeing as an emerald might not really be one, or it might just be glass or plastic or something that was spray brushed green, and it's all the same, because a raw, true, genuine crystal and a mass-produced oval are not always going to be the same material. So there's kind of this energy here where it's like, if you know, you know, but there's no doubt about it that you know, group one. That's the taste that you're leaving behind in other people's mouths. And this past life regression card is really kind of sparking my attention. So let's see, I'm going to pull now from the Animal Dreaming Oracle before we get into your tarot. What is the taste you leave behind in other people's mouths, group one? You're showing me follow your heart and past life regression. Okay, there might be this dynamic where maybe you know everyone you've been in your past lives, or maybe you've done some past life regression, or maybe you just feel as though you've lived a lot of lifetimes in this life, in this body. And so you're kind of at this place where you don't naively go for what you want. You go for what you want because you know what it feels like not to. Essentially, you know when there's a good opportunity in front of your face. There's also this energy too that since people see you as you being a good opportunity, there's kind of this underlying energy of what did they do to get there? Okay, but who you are is something that people are always trying to figure out because it's so multifaceted. We have the dolphin with breath. Yeah, you always seem like you have a clear mind. You seem like you have clarity on everything all the time. You seem like you're responsible. This is the I don't know how they do it all person coming out kind of in this energy. It's also that energy of, you know, kangaroos, they kind of are like super beefy, but they also just kind of hang out and munch on grass all the time. So there's kind of this energy of how do you do everything that you do and then also have a life? And so the taste that you leave in people's mouths is, how do you do it all? You have some sort of magic answer. How do you have so much clarity? How do you have so much time? How do you know what is up and coming? How do you know all of these things? There's just this energy about you that is really, truly rare. It's when you are holding on to a crystal. Like if you go to, if you go somewhere, like to a store, in a kiosk in a mall, and you buy something that says it's an emerald, you might feel inclined to go get that emerald checked to see if it's real, because maybe the price was a little low. But there's this energy here where when somebody hands you this and they tell you it's an emerald, there's no doubt in your mind that it's an emerald. In fact, every time you see an emerald after this, you would compare it with this one because there's no doubt that this is the real one. So that is also the taste that you leave in people's mouths, okay? Something to compare everything else with. And gentle aggression. Okay, so this is kind of saying people know not to mess with you. You might have very firm boundaries. This is where this rough around the edges energy comes into, where because you are responsible, because you honor your peace, and because you are in on the know, you know the trends before they happen, you have the tea before it spills, because you have gone through the Akashic records, so you already know. Because of whatever that energy is there, you're responsible and you honor your peace. So with this gentle aggression, You protect what's yours, but I'm hearing never defense, only offense. There's kind of this energy where you would rather keep the peace. Okay, you're probably not very confrontational. So the taste that you're leaving behind in people's mouths is ultimately that you're very flowy. You love to create things. You always kind of know something about, either you know something about everything, or there's so much more layers to you to unfold every single time. Like, this is somebody who you can be in a relationship with you for 10 years and they're still discovering something new about you every day. This is, you know how to treat every situation, and it seems that no matter what situation you're in, you've been in it before. You handle everything like an expert, everything like a pro. And so there's kind of this question of, how did you get here? This is why people might see you as someone who is an opportunity. The taste you kind of leave behind in people's mouths is that even if they spend their whole life digging, they might never see every single thing that there is to offer within you, because it might have to do with past lives. It might have to do with like having some sort of multi-dimensional kaleidoscopic vision. It might have to do with, there are a lot of people who are super excited all the time, and maybe you're super peaceful, but maybe you also know how to harness that excitement. And maybe there are people around you who are super zen all the time, but then they don't know how to get hyped up. They're showing me the triple burner in Chinese medicine, which kind of regulates your connections with other people, your emotions, and it's kind of like, I heard it explained in a way where, imagine a 3-story building. If the temperature is not regulated through all 3 stories, one of the stories is going to be frozen. Another level of the building is going to be so hot, and the other energy is going to be really like muddled because it'll be in between the two. So there's kind of this energy here where you seem to be perfectly regulated at all times in all situations, and you know what's appropriate when. And so there's kind of this energy of, because you are the authentic emerald, people follow your stride. But they also see you as someone who knows what you're doing, you're experienced. How did you get there? How did you learn that? How did you know that? They're showing me again the Devil Wears Prada. You just think it's a blue skirt, but what you don't know is that because of the stitching, because of the color, I can tell where it was made, how it was made, what materials were used for the thread, what materials were used to create the coloring, from which flowers, in which country, in which brand, and which store you bought it from, and how long you've had it too. Whereas to someone else, they just bought a skirt off a rack on clearance. And this doesn't have to be very like, this can be materialistic, it can be mental, it can be spiritual, it can be any way, it can be all of them too. But there's definitely this energy that the taste that you leave in people's mouths is, you're responsible and you're calm about it, and you are cool with everything as long as you don't overstep your bounds. Like, that is one thing, is your boundaries come through. And so people might kind of want to explore, because they're like, well, if it's kaleidoscopic, then this and that have to be true. And so there's kind of this don't even try energy. So I'm gonna pull your tarot from the Tattoo Tarot here, and we're gonna see, what is the taste you leave behind in other people's mouths. Group number 1. They just keep showing me like the emerald is a little more literal. So maybe look up emeralds and see if there's a specific definition or property. And I feel the need to keep it general for this reading specifically, because I'm getting your intuition will kind of help you sniff something out. It might be about the way that emeralds are formed or the materials they're made out of. It can be the spiritual properties of them. It can also be like a myth or a lore or legend or something about it too. We have Judgment, the Empress, and the 9 of Wands. This is giving, the taste that you leave behind in people's mouths is, I said what I said, I have something to show for it, and so don't you dare switch up on me. The taste that you leave behind in people's mouths is that you are very much aware of the flow of the universe. You know how to create stuff. You know how to manifest what it is that you want. You know how to manifest what is, this is giving like a maternal energy. It's like you're always taking care of everything and everyone, and you truly have everyone's best interest at heart all the time. But with that being said, since you have everyone's best interest at heart all the time, if someone comes in and tries to like kind of put their foot out so that you trip over it, there's kind of this energy where you also know how to like sack a punch. And I'm not saying that that is literal. I don't condone violence personally, but there's kind of this energy here where it's like you've already been through the ringer here, and that's why you're so calm. This is giving, like, they're showing me a Shaolin monk. Okay, like, these are people who can break bricks with their head. They literally spend months just slamming their heads against rough materials like walls and bricks and trees. And then eventually they can break them. But it's not because of violence. It's not so that they're strong enough to break something. It's so that they're strong. It's so that they're strong enough materially to deal with the calm that is within them, because the world is so not necessarily formatted to that. And so there's this energy they're showing me again, like that archetype of like Miranda Priestley, also combined with like a monk, which is interesting because it's like you have made a name for yourself. You already know, like, and this can be in your friend group, your community, your family, whatever. It's like people know who you are, and people know that you know who you are as well. And people also know that you have everyone's best interest at heart, and whatever it is that you do, or whatever it is you're out there in the world doing, it's most likely not for you, but you also have so much more information and capability than what it is that you're showing. There's always something more to be seen, and the taste that you leave behind in people's mouths is like I've been everywhere. I've seen everything. Don't even try to question it. There's literally no need in the world to have, like, I'm hearing just competition is a no-no. Your judgment is on point. You love to take care of and nurture other people, but when it comes to that, sometimes the best kind of love is tough love. Sometimes it's soft. Sometimes it is space. Sometimes love takes many different forms, as we see in the universe. Everything comes from the vibration of love, and everything doesn't look like love all the time. Sometimes it's distorted, sometimes it's twisted, and there are knots and twists and turns and spirals and detours, but the taste that you leave behind in people's mouths, group one, is ultimately you know that you know what you know. It's like there's this energy of you don't want to know where I've been, you don't want to know what I've seen, but because of it, it made you bigger, it made you better, it made you stronger, and it made you softer, and it made you really value your peace. But don't think that just because you spend time, it's like they're showing me that monk though. Like just because you are so zen, just because you are so spiritual, just because you're so peaceful, just because you like fashion, doesn't mean that you can't pack a punch. And that doesn't mean that's your intention. It just means you should know better than to walk up to someone who spent their whole life training martial arts and think that they can be walked all over because they meditate, right? And so again, with this Miranda Priestley energy too, it's really just saying the taste that you leave behind in people's mouths is like, I'm hearing that song by Meghan Trainor, Mother. It's like, I am your mother, you listen to me. There's just this energy of like silent authority that is unquestionable and also one in a million. And again, they're showing me this emerald where it's like, you are what others compare things to make sure that it's like you are the fact check. It's like you are where people go to, what people compare with in order to fact check. Is that really the trend? Let me check with group one. Is that really true? Let me check with group one. Am I picking up on something I'm supposed to be picking up on? Let me check that with group one. It's like you are the foundation of knowing. Like you could be the boss at your job. Is this okay? Is this technically allowed in the rules? Is this true? There's something like that that's coming out too. It's like you are the fact check. You are the OG. You're the original. You're the Miranda Priestley. You're also the Shaolin monk with this 9 of Wands and the Gentle Aggression card with Follow Your Heart. If anyone, it's like, and this came out in the beginning too with the heart-mind coherence. The taste that you leave in people's mouths, group number one, is that your intuition, your mind, and your heart are somehow always in sync. And so because of this, there's this energy where if someone tries to outsmart you, you already know that your reason is supported by your intuition and your heart. And if someone tells you not to follow your heart, it's still supported by your logic and your intuition. Someone tells you not to follow your intuition, it's still supported by your logic and your heart. So that's where this Gentle Aggression and 9 of Wands comes from. I am going to leave it there for you, group one. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you liked your reading about the taste that you leave behind in people's mouths. Very interesting energy. Keep doing whatever it is that you're doing, group one. I hope this helps shed love, light, and clarity on your situation, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful realm. If you haven't already, please check out Tay's portion of this video collab down in the description box to see what makes you hypnotizing, alluring, magnetic. I will see you next time, and namaste. Hi, the group number 2, namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today, we are taking a look at what is the taste you leave behind in other people's mouths. So what is your essence that you are leaving off? This is, of course, in collaboration with Tay from the Goddess of the Unknown, and she's going to be tapping into what makes you hypnotic, magnetizing, alluring. So check out her video as well in the link in the description box. You selected group number 2, and they're showing me immediately like 2 sides of every coin, and they're showing me this meteorite that you selected, which is beautiful. This is giving definitely unique, one of a kind, there's a culmination of different energies that make this. They're showing me the way that this was formed. This is a meteorite, but it's a tektite meteorite, which means that this is what was resulted from a meteorite impact with the earth. That is a material that is closer to a meteorite than it is the earth, this specifically, but it is actually an in-between mineral. It's an element that was formed when earth and a meteorite collide and they melt each other and they form something new, which is kind of a rock, kind of glassy. It's kind of similar to how obsidian is formed, or like lava glass and things like that, but instead it's space. So there's this energy here of 2 totally dualistic aspects of you coming together to create this central balanced piece in the middle. They're showing me there's yin, there's yang, and then there's space. There's good, there's bad, and then there's neutral. They're showing me very, essentially, Tao. They're showing me Taoism. You don't have to practice this. This doesn't have to be resonant with you at all, although it can be. But the taste that you leave in people's mouths is that I'm hearing it's nothing personal, it's just show business. Or it's nothing personal, it's just spiritual. Or there's kind of this energy here where you don't get, the taste that you leave in people's mouths is that you don't get overly attached. You don't get overly detached. You kind of are always balanced. And this can be a group that has people perhaps with different interests, different hobbies, different memories, different experiences. Like perhaps you have experienced 2 stark contrasts of things in life, or perhaps you embody things that are stark contrasts for one another, but it's not because you're all over the place or because your pendulum is swinging or anything like that. It is actually because you have a solid, steady core, a clear channel, a foundation of neutrality, of space, of knowing. And so when you have a clear channel, that naturally touches the side of everything. There's, like, imagine your body. It has a front, it has a back, it has a right side, it has a left side. That doesn't negate that there's no body in the middle just because it's touching one or the other. But it's not only a right side, it's not only a left side, it's not only the front, it's not only the back. So the taste that you leave in people's mouths might be a lot of questioning about, for example, if they're just showing me a perspective. If they're looking at you from the front left, they might be wondering what is on the front right, what's on the back right, what's on the full back, what's on the full left. Like there's this energy of energies wanting to kind of circle all the way around you, almost take orbit around you, which is an interesting perspective, although we did select the meteorite here for group 2. So the taste that you leave behind in people's mouths immediately, group number 2, is, I'll just say it, you're out of this world. But there's also this energy of you are both transparent and an enigma at the same time. And so that kind of is indicating that there's always something in the center. If one sees hot, they know that there's cold, but it's not because if they're seeing hot, they're seeing it from the perspective of hot. It doesn't mean that you are. If they're seeing it from the perspective of cold, it doesn't mean that you are. And there's kind of this energy where that's the taste that it's leaving in people's mouths. You have a very strong force field, a very strong energy, a very strong aura about you, and that is unmistakable. But people are realizing that they are able to understand you from their own perspective, as we all do, but it's becoming more and more apparent that you have always been who you say you are. And there's this energy about the essence that you leave being, I am not what you project onto me. That is what you are. However, I will always move accordingly. And there is this energy of almost nonchalant perhaps neutrality behind everything that you do. Some things might get people super, say super stoked or something, and you will just look at it and say, yes, this is a moment in time and space and this will occur. Other things might get people super upset and the same. It's almost this energy of you are always on center, no matter what. And of course with the meteorite, there's kind of this energy of spacey, but it's like a very aware, conscious spacey. I'm not getting space like, oh, group 2 is a space cadet. I'm getting group 2 like, you have this external perspective to everything. You can put everything into perspective. You can balance everything out. And so there's kind of this energy around you where the essence that you leave behind is a little bit more of a portal or a bridge than anything else. I wouldn't be surprised if this group has perhaps mediums, starseeds, ancient beings, old souls, things like that in here. So for my Follow Your Heart Oracle deck, you have Finder of Lost Things. You have It's Your Ancestors. Okay, and Self-Love. I'm called not to look at the back of the deck energy for this one, but I'm going to pull the top. We have Subtle Vibrations. Okay. So first and foremost, the taste that you leave behind in people's mouths is that you love yourself, because you know that loving yourself is the same as loving everything and everyone else. And so you also seem to have this really good memory about you. Some of you might have like a photographic memory. Some of you might have a very perfect memory. Some of you might remember like your past, present, future, parallel lifetimes. Some of you might remember being an infant, being a toddler. Some of you may have been those children that were walking around remembering their past lives, saying weird things to their parents. This is giving the energy of you already know where to look, and you already know why that's where to look. And regardless of what or where it is, you've already seen it before. And with the self-love and the subtle vibration, you might be the kind of person where the taste you leave in people's mouths is that there's always a reason behind everything. And it's always in your best interest, but it's also in the most polarizing ripple effect that you can have energy. Like you are always making both the power move and the move that honors yourself at the same time. And so there's this energy where the essence you leave behind might not be entirely understood, because it seems to be a culmination of different things, but you're noticing, or people notice about you, that you seem to have this very, very intrinsic or deep connection, maybe with history, with art, with the earth's history, with space, with something like this. You might be, this can also be like I said earlier, like the star seeds. This can also be the group that has perhaps like cosmologists, physicists. This can be the group that loves to unearth understanding, deeper understanding. You could be a they're saying like paleontologist, or like a geologist or something, where you're very interested in the formation of new things. You seem to be always in the right place at the right time. You always seem to be having, or you always seem to be in the place where you are needed the most. And in the same way, it's also honoring yourself the best at the same time. There's kind of this double mission energy coming out here. And the taste that you leave behind in people's mouths is honestly, group 2, you are an enigma. People seem to not be able to figure you out because you're so transparent. Because I'm getting that you might literally say a lot of things, and it might be seen from the perspective of the left, from the perspective of the right, or the back, or the front, or anywhere in between. Whereas you are an open book. You are entirely transparent. And so, someone else's perspective trying to figure that out, assuming that you mean this, and so assuming that that's correct, you can conclude this, and so on and so forth. And it's like, no, I just told you. Or there's a reason I was there. Like, everything is so in flow with the universe. This is also the taste you leave behind, your essence. You are in flow with the universe, in flow with space. there's this energy where there seems to be a lot of ancient knowledge, or a lot of energy work, or there's a lot of perhaps unknowns that you seem to be caught onto. So they're not really unknowns. And you might be known for having spoken up in the past, and then drawing your attention back to yourself and your self-love for a bit, and taking more of a subtle back burner approach to the things in your life. Not your life, but the impact that you're making. There's this transition in the cards here where the taste that you're leaving behind and to other people is very much used to say everything. They're showing me someone like kicking and screaming and being like, no, why are you like this? This is true. This is healthy. This is real. There's a hummingbird outside my window. It's like going everywhere. It can fly in any different direction. It's very fast. It's very cute. It's very humble. It's very pure. It's very innocent. But it's like writing books and books and books that no one will read. And then pouring this into yourself. The taste that you leave behind in people's mouths is that whatever you're doing is working. It is that you are honoring yourself, and you always know, it's like you are always a few steps ahead. You may have messages in group 1, but not necessarily, because this energy is a bit different. This energy is very much so, you do things, and then you're like, oh, that? Yeah, of course, but I didn't do that for you, I did that for me. But you doing that, you saying that, was for something or someone else. While others are running around in circles trying to figure out, why did you do that? How did you see that? How did you get that? What's going on? This is like someone who is not telling other people, perhaps, or you gave the equation that you used, but other people are still trying to figure out the equation yourself, because there's this energy of, it's important that you learn yourself. It's not about me, it's about you. So there's this energy here, it's like it's between me and the universe, it's between you and the universe. It's not between you and me, so don't put that on me. It's not between me and you, don't put that on you. There's this energy of, if you want to step forward, you have to put one foot in front of the other. And so the taste that you leave behind in people's mouths is that, again, I'm hearing it's not personal, it's just business. And so there's kind of this energy here where I'm hearing like no handouts. I'm hearing you have to work. I'm hearing you better work, bitch. Okay, so there's kind of this energy where the taste you leave behind in people's mouths is that you can move through love, but love does not have unconditional boundaries. Letting something or someone kind of walk all over you and take the information that you had. This is reminding me actually of a conversation I had with a good friend the other day. We were both talking about how we've both been used quite a bit because of our gifts, our abilities, our knowledge, our ability to access certain things and have it be both validated by the universe and science and math, and it just lines up and it's just easy peasy. And so there's this energy similar to this about you, group 2, and they're showing me this in the transition of the cards where you may have laid all your cards out on the table. And because of that, people are saying, oh, I like this card, and I like this card, and I like this card, so what if I rewire them? But it's taking from you and not honoring your sovereign self. But the taste that you're leaving in people's mouths is quite the opposite. You honor yourself, and you are filled with self-love. You have this information, but you don't put all your cards out on the table. But at the same time, you do. It's that transparency. It's that you lay all your cards out on the table, but you're not telling people that. They can figure it out. You gave them the equation, but you're not going to tell them how to solve it, even though you already did. You just gave them the equation last. There's kind of this energy where you are fully transparent, and that is what confuses people. You love yourself, and you honor all that came before, all that comes after. You honor the front, the back, the right, the left, and you're able to pick up on the subtle vibrations. It's like energetically, you can feel a pin drop. You can hear a pin drop. You can see a pin drop. And so because of that, you have to keep yourself, it's almost like you are a polarizational thing. It's like your vibration is needed in certain spots. And there's kind of this Nanny McPhee energy about you too, group number 2, where this is the essence that you're giving off, the taste that you're leaving behind in people's mouths. It's, I am here when you need me, not when you want me. But when you want me and don't need me, I will not be here. Because Nanny McPhee, she's got a job to do. And kind of like Mary Poppins too. You never know what she's going to pull out of her bag, But you know that it's going to make you second guess. Why was that in your bag? Why is that what you pull out in this situation? What do you mean penguins can dance and sing? But nonetheless, here it is in front of your face. And she told you already. A spoonful of sugar will make the medicine go down, and people are singing and dancing, and it's so cute, but that was the solution that they were searching for. There's kind of this energy where everything is so transparent. Everything is so transparent, and it's so not personal, but it's also so filled with love for the self and for the universe that it kind of reflects back the max capacity of the understanding of the experiencer of you. And so the taste is a little bit different that you leave behind for everybody, but one thing is for sure, and it's that you are in balance, in flow, and you know what you're doing. So, what is the taste you leave behind in other people's mouths for group number 2? This is my Follow Your Heart Oracle deck. This is the Animal Dreaming Oracle. And then we'll pull your tarot. Group number 2. What is the taste you leave behind in other people's mouths? We have Hawk, Messages, Cassowary, Respect. You respect your ancestors. You respect the earth. You respect all that has come before you. You are the kind of person who, when it's Halloween, you say, hey, enjoy your candy, but also set something up for your ancestors today. You are that kind of energy where, hey, enjoy Christmas, but remember why it's Christmas. There's this owl deception energy with self-love, which is interesting to me, and we have the calmness with the couscous. They're drawing me back with this calmness, the subtle vibration, and the meteorite. There's this energy where you have some sort of right angle, and it might perceive itself as a difficulty to others, but a right angle can also be a triangle. It just depends on how you look at it. There is this energy where you are loving towards all, but not so much so that it puts you on one team over the other, that it leads you around, full circle. And so because of this, it's like everything that you say honors everything and everyone. You're the kind of person to tell your own story from someone else's perspective so that you can be fair and balanced about it. And that's the taste you leave behind in other people's mouths, which is beautiful. It's like you honor everything and everyone that comes before you, but you also honor yourself. It's not one or the other. It is all of the above. And it is clear. It's transparent. That's the thing. And so with respect and deception, because transparency is calm, respected, and truthful, sometimes it might be misconstrued as deception. Only for the reason being that people expect honesty in others the amount that they expect honesty within themselves. And so there's this energy where you know this too. And with that being said, you might expect the amount of honesty that you have, full transparency from others. And when that's not the case, you might feel like you got deceived. But it goes back to the heart chakra. It goes back to the astral body. This might also be the case where you notice that somebody's not trusting you and you are transparent. So that lets you know how much you can trust them or how much they trust themselves. Because you are clear, you are transparent. There's this energy here where the taste you leave behind in other people's mouths is that you are not afraid to go there within yourself. If there's a shadow, you look at it, you deal with it, you face it, you work through it. If it takes you a day, if it takes you a year, you're here for it. However, there's no doubt that what you are portraying is transparent, authentic, trustworthy, and respectable. There's kind of this Taurus and Capricorn energy coming out here. And it's also very calm. It's like they're showing me this fork in the road kind of on the branch this couscous is on here with number 13. And 13, it's reminding me of the 13 months of the year instead of the 12 months of the year. 13 being the realm of the veil instead of like 12, light, or 14, angels. And I say these things lightly, of course, but they're showing me where one might see this or that. You see, no, this is a full path. So you might see like the central perspective, and that's the taste that you leave in everyone's mouth. It's like you always balance out everything, but it's not from a it's to the right, so we have to be to the left. It's to the left, we have to be to the right. It's always, this is to the right, here is center. It's like, are you sure it's not all the way over here? No, because this needs to be centralized too. There's this energy here of keeping your center no matter what, and almost sending out such an energy field that you cannot become a storm. But there are so many storms in the world that you almost kind of get carried or magnetized to where you need to be at the right time. And this is kind of leading me to an energy where you might find yourself in situations where you are needed instead of wanted. You might find yourself in situations where you are wanted but not needed, and so you don't get to be there. And there's this sense of knowing your path, knowing that if you love yourself, everything around you loves you too, because you love everything and everyone equally. But because it's equal, because you love yourself as much as everybody else, but because it's unconditional love, you also know where to set boundaries. You also know how to respect other people. You also know where someone's at on their journey when they're treating you in a way that is projection instead of honoring your transparency. Because you're able to see, since you are crystal clear, your vision is crystal clear. And so people are able to see you through however much clarity they have in their perception. So this is really interesting. So the taste that you leave in people's mouths, it's a reverberation and an expansion of their own experience, of their own essence. It's like a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. It's like you are a taste of everyone's own medicine, drawing it back to center and leaving it with a little bit of sugar, a little bit of sweetener. So a lot of people are kind of confused probably about how they feel about you, or they're very confused about how you put yourself out there like that, or they're very confused about how you're able to pick up on such subtle things, and it's because you don't honor left or right. You honor left and right, because there's a perspective larger than duality here. Because it's not, do I go to the right branch or do I go to the left branch? It's, what if we follow the central path? Okay, closing out with your tarot. What is the taste you leave behind in other people's mouths? Group number 2. What is your essence that you leave behind? Okay, we have the 7 of Cups. I'm hearing that you have a lot of options with the 7 of Cups, or that there's always another option, okay? It might be someone's like, oh, we came to the fork of the road, or we came to the end of the road, and you're like, no, that's not, no. Because there's always a central perception. There's always an infinite perspective. There's always a transparency behind everything. So with the 7 of Cups, Temperance, you won't hesitate to wait, okay? There are some things, like there are some energies around you where you'll just wait and see. You'll just wait and see what happens, or you know what's going to happen, so you put the time and energy into it. You change a lot of people's minds about the world, about themselves, about what they thought was possible. Again, this is giving, like with the Chariot, this is giving, you solved the equation, and so you taught all the lessons that it would take in order for the equation to be solved, and then at the end you gave the equation. And so there are a lot of people trying to figure out the equation. Why weren't they transparent? Why did they give the equation but then not walk us through solving it? And you're like, but I did. So there's kind of this energy where it's like, you gave the options, you gave the information, you were transparent about it, and you're like, now I wait, now we wait. So the taste that you leave behind in other people's mouths is that you are very independent. You don't need anyone or anything to validate you, and you're very happy that way too. You're very calm, you're very serene. You also give off this peaceful energy, like you are comfortable with who you are, where you are, when you are, because any pride gets brought back to center. Any humbleness gets brought back to center. There is this energy of any overexertion gets brought back to center. Any underexertion gets brought back to center. And so because of this, you are content. This is the energy of someone who has done a lot of work on themselves and who knows it too. And not in a way where it's comparative or competitive, but merely in a way where you've worked for your peace, you have your information, you gave everything that you have to give, but you also honor what you need, and you're at peace, knowing that you did what needs to be done, and you show up for yourself too, and that you give any extra energy that you have, and you don't need to be doing that. Again, the transparency is what's coming through. And so I'm getting that the more of a distance people are at from you, usually the clearer they can see you, unless they've done some of this work themselves. There might be a specific person or a specific guide on your team or something that you feel can see you probably more deeply than others. And it would be because they have done similar work to you, because they've explored that corner of their being and chose to bring it back to center, okay? So there's an energy where instead of going for what you're told or going for what you're taught or leaning into an energy or assuming an identity and then rolling with that and seeing what that unfolds, you kind of bring everything back to center. So your emotions are very balanced. Your mindset is very balanced. You're very like conscious and in space, but also grounded. You are just as in space as you are grounded. You are just as grounded as you are spiritual. There's no it's like there's a perfect balance and a pure transparency about your energy, and that's honestly the taste that you leave behind in other people's mouths. And that kind of leaves an aftertaste of whatever it is that they are still figuring out about themselves. And eventually they come back to that initial taste, but it kind of takes them for a loop every time. And they always come back to center, and it helps them find that clarity, that transparency within themselves. So group number 2, you are an experience, that is for sure. And that is all I have for you today. I hope this helps shed love, light, and clarity on your situation. And if you want to check out why you are hypnotic, magnetic, alluring, go check out Tay's video in the description box down below. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful realm. I will see you next time. Namaste. Hi there, group number 3. Namaste and welcome to your reading. Today we're taking a look at what is the taste you leave behind in people's mouths. This video is in collaboration with Tay from the Goddess of the Unknown, so you can check out her video about what makes you hypnotic, alluring, magnetic down below in the description box. As we know, I don't usually do topics like this, which is why I'm doing it. And you selected the third group with the tiger's eye, and this is so funny. Immediately they're showing me like very nostalgic things from my childhood. Like I'm hearing Britney Spears, the song Overprotected, and this is the tiger's eye, which is a crystal of protection. And they're showing me, I had that song on a hit clip. So if you know what a hit clip is, the original iPod, aka the original iPhone, aka the original Spotify, oh my God. Drop in the comments below what song you guys had on your hit clip if you had a hit clip, because sometimes I feel like I'm floating on a cloud. Anyway, so you selected group number 3 with the tiger's eye crystal, and this is such a beautiful indication of the taste that you leave behind in other people's mouths, because you are ferocious like a tiger. You are protective over what is yours, but people look at you and they also think, oh, but I kind of just want to get in there and like scratch behind their cute little ear. If I stick my hand out and they rub their whiskers up against me and they kind of vibe it out a little bit, maybe we'll be cool. There's this energy that you have like a protective barrier around you, but it's in like it's in a way where they know your heart, but they wouldn't expect anything else from a tiger, right? And also, tiger's eye is a really strong intuitive crystal. It helps you to strengthen your intuition primarily through the third eye, and I've also heard of people using it for their solar plexus as well. So this can help you to become more confident in your intuition, or alternatively to strengthen your intuition so much that you are confident. So there's kind of this energy here about you traveling through time. They're showing me the different striations here, and they're showing me like rock formations. And you know how when you look at like old cliffs and stuff, you can kind of see different time periods by looking at the colors and the stripes and the different things that are there. So they're showing me that like your face tells a story, your life tells a story. Like there's something about you where you, like you're a tiger, and people know, and you don't have to be a tiger, obviously you're a human watching a YouTube video, but there's an energy here where people know what to expect from a tiger. Now, the tiger is an individual, however, they aren't going to go sticking its hand in its food. They're not going to mess around with it. They're not going to, how do I say this? Like, tigers, you know that big cats, they stalk their prey. You know that they curl up in little balls and sleep like that. You know that they are hunters. Like, there are natural certain behaviors that one expects from a tiger. At the same time, every tiger is individual, And we like to look at things in a positive light here. And so we know that we can be friends with any animal at all whatsoever. I have seen videos of people like kissing Komodo dragons on the forehead, like I do with my bearded dragon. And there's kind of this energy here where you might be a tiger, you might be a Komodo dragon, but that doesn't mean that you're not lovable. Or you might be squishy and cuddly and cute, you might like your cuddles, but that doesn't make you not a Komodo dragon. That doesn't make you not a tiger. There's kind of this energy here of you holding this energy about you where you're intuitive, you're confident, like a lion knows it's a lion. A tiger knows it's a lion. I'm hearing like, you know damn well, you know dang well, group 3, that you are a lion. You know you're a tiger. You know that you are, I'm hearing at the top of the food chain in a certain way. But there's also this intuition here that is like, but you'll also fall on your side and like stick your butt up in the air and wag your tail around, and like, you know how cats kind of like, when you scratch them like on their cheek, they'll kind of fall over. Like there's kind of this energy too where it's like, you're lovey-dovey, but you're also very intuitive, and you also know that you're a tiger, or insert animal similar to that. So let's take a look at the taste you leave behind in other people's mouths. I'm hearing intuitive, like, but fiercely intuitive, so scarily intuitive. So there might be this energy about maybe you might not walk, you might strut. Like you might not hunt, you might stalk. Like there's this energy about you where not stalk like in a human way, stalk in a cat way, please. But there's definitely this energy here about you, group number 3, where the taste you leave in people's mouths, it's intimidating, but also alluring at the same time. And the reason for this is because you know how many times I've heard in my life someone say like, oh, I really want like a pet lion or like a pet cheetah. They're so cute. And the response to that is always, don't forget that they're a wild animal. And the same goes for your dog. The same goes for your domesticated house cat. The same goes for every single human being on this planet. It's like, just as much as you are individual and lovable, you are also a wild animal. There will always be a consciousness. There will always be individuality. There will always be a beating heart. There will always be a soul, energy, essence, but there will always still be a primal nature as well. So there's kind of this energy to you that is a bit intimidating because, like I said, I'm hearing strut, like the song by the Cheetah Girls. There's also this nostalgic energy to you too. Now I'm hearing You Remind Me by Usher. Okay, you might be very into like the 2000s aesthetic or like late 90s or something like that. I'm hearing all that, like the show. There's kind of this nostalgic energy about you here with the hit clips coming out. Hello. You might be, how do I say this? Like, you might have your style, it's tried and true, and that's a group 3. You know that's a group 3. There's no mistaking that group 3 for being a group 3. There's no mistaking that tiger for being a tiger. Some people might think it's a jaguar or a panther or a cougar, but either way, it's a big cat, and it has big teeth, and it might like its scratchies, but it's still a wild animal, okay? There's intuitive protection, karmic lessons, wise like wood, and befriend your ego. Yeah, we definitely have this kind of like, you gotta strut like you mean it, free your mind, like energy coming out. Yes. Okay. Beautiful. And blessing magnet. Okay. People see you as very lucky. It's like you wear the shoes before they come out, or you already knew how that was gonna play out. Like there's this energy about you where you're like, well, yes, like, okay. You have learned a lot of your lessons. You know that I'm hearing like a dog eat dog world out there. You are very well aware that a tiger's got to be a tiger. Like a mom's got to protect its cubs. A lion's got to be a lion. And it can be squishy, it can be sweet, it can be cute, it can be adorable, but it knows not to, like, I'm hearing like mess around and find out, right? So there's kind of this energy where you know you're a panther and you walk around like a panther. You know you're a tiger and you walk around like a tiger. That way, it leaves you more space to be vulnerable, to be sweet. Someone respects the fact that they're dealing with a tiger. And then they're pleasantly surprised when the tiger gets all squishy and rolls over and shows you its belly and enjoys getting scratchies. instead of the other way around, where if there's a lion that comes up to you and it's like letting you pet it or whatever, and then it pulls out its claws because it's just being a lion, you're not surprised to find out that it has those claws. It's something that you already should have known. And if you didn't, then it's like the lion doing you a service by letting you know, like, rawr, hello, you're dealing with a lion. So this is the taste that you leave behind in other people's mouths. And also with the blessing magnet, it's like you might be they're showing me like the top hunter. You might be like the apex predator. You might be the master manifester. You might be the like the most confident one. You might be the model with the walk with the straightest posture. Like there's something here about the something. And that's kind of showing me like Aries energy, to be honest. Like whenever you have Aries, especially with like the moon or like the midheaven or something like that kind of involved. When you have Aries, oftentimes the word first or the is highlighted with that. So there's kind of this energy where you're not just a cat, you are the lion. You are not just a lion, you are the leader of the pack. Like there's something here where you have that elder wisdom. People go to you for your wisdom, people go to you for your knowledge, for your intuition, for your ability to remind them that they're a tiger, and for their ability to remind them that it's okay for tigers to roll over and show their belly. And so the taste that you leave behind in other people's mouths with these energies coming out, it's that you are protective over you and yours, because you know, it's not that you have a guard up, it's that you know who and what you are. And with this, we have a lot of greens and blues and a little bit of yellow coming out with the Befriend Your Ego card. When you stand in your power all the way, which I'm getting that you're not fully doing entirely. And this is something that people can see as well. This is also in your essence. It's like, you might be like a lion cub. You could be like a tiger cub. And you might not feel that way, but you might be presenting as a lion cub. Okay, and so there's kind of this energy where you are apt to grow at some point. You are apt to strut more at some point. It's like you are already at level 2, and so eventually you'll be at level 3, and eventually you'll be at level 4. Even like there's kind of this aging like fine wine energy to you. And so the essence that you leave in people's mouths, the taste that you leave behind, it's a little bit intimidating because you have this healthy confidence to you, but it's in a way that honors others too. It's if you are confident, and that doesn't mean that it's in comparison to anything or anyone else, it just makes you know that you're a tiger, and all the other tigers should know that they're tigers too. And it's kind of this less is more energy too with the way that you're presenting yourself, and that surprises people also, because you know you're a tiger, but they always see you like rolled on your back. So that's why it's like they know that they're petting a tiger. That's why. That's the essence that you give off. It's like you're a cuddly, like I just keep getting like you're a cuddly lion, but they still know you're a lion. Okay. Also, your wisdom is coming out too. You could be like an elder, you could be like a therapist, you could be somebody who's just been through a lot. I'm hearing like the word trauma or trauma informed. Okay, and I say that very, very lightly, okay, gently, because that can mean a lot of things. But there's also an energy where it's like, you're the kind of tiger that they want to study. You're the kind of tiger that people might want to catch and put like a tracker on so that they can learn more about its behavior. But you're always on your back. So they don't know if putting that tracker on you will create like a fight or flight. They don't know if you'll run away, if you'll bat at them, if you'll let them. There's kind of this energy where people want to get closer, and they know that they can be a certain amount of close to you, but they have to do it on your terms, within your boundaries, because you are the tiger. We have frog with cleansing too, lyrebird with genetic memory. Lyre was actually the first stringed instrument, and it's also connected with the constellation Lyra. So that's coming out as well too. We have one, they're showing me like the original, we have Aries coming out, so the original Lyrans can be significant for you as well. Take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. I'm just going to drop that seed there and move on. There's this energy of you being the original something, or you being the, like the lion that's the leader of the pack, or you being that one tiger, like they're showing me like the, was that Coco? Like that, she was like a gorilla who knew sign language. Like there's this energy where you are not just a lion, you're that lion. You're not just a tiger, you're that tiger. And with Lyrebird genetic memory, it's like, and it's not just you, it's you and yours. It's like you and the pack that you travel with. Like you and the people around you, they're all tigers. You and the people around you, they're all wise. They're all strutting. They're all nostalgic. And it almost kind of shows people their potential by seeing yours. We have Bat and Rebirth with number 9. You're not afraid to like leap, okay? You're not afraid to take leaps of faith. You're also not afraid to transform, okay? They're showing me like a werewolf, okay? There's kind of this energy as well where people might see a lot of different aspects to you over time, but both of these have wings. So there's always this energy of as long as you're not snipping my wings, I'll roll over on my back. So that's cool. That's the taste that you leave behind in other people's mouths too. It's like as long as you're not prodding at me with that thing, you can put a tracker around my ankle, but the second it goes under my skin, I gotta dart, or I gotta pull out the claws or something like that. There's this energy of like healthy boundaries, but also a bit of ferocity around you. And I don't know if it's because you're like that, or if this is because this is the taste you leave behind because people are intimidated. Okay, that'll be different for all of you. And just keep in mind too with number 19 that this is indicating that there's kind of this idealized energy about you. 19 is the sun, okay? So the sun with the tiger's eye with blessing magnet. People kind of see you like, oh, I wish I was a tiger, or I wish I was the leader of the pack lion, or I wish I was the gorilla that knew sign language, right? Like there's kind of this energy around you of you shining and you being like docile, but don't try to snip your wings. Don't try to declaw the tiger. It's not going to be a good idea, right? Okay. And again, intuition and wisdom is coming out a lot. Now, I actually channeled a message the other day that I feel called to share with you regarding that. It says, awakening is knowledge, remembering is wisdom. And then it says, some get blinded by the light. Okay, so there's kind of that energy in your essence too. We have Cockatoo with illumination. Okay, sun, with 19 with the sun, Cockatoo with illumination, Raven with magic. Okay, I'm going to put these two back. We'll look at them. We have Black Swan with grace. Ooh, good movie. Couscous, calmness, magpie, balance. Okay, you might kind of throw people into their own little like Black Swan psyop. Okay, you could be like the Mila Kunis kind of vibe if you've seen that movie. If you haven't, see it at your own risk. There's this energy where you execute grace, you execute balance, you execute calmness, but you also know the inner and outer workings of magic. You know that you're protected. You know that you can shed light on any situation, and it's kind of like this energy of waiting for the other shoe to drop. Not because there's good so there has to be bad, but because it's a tiger and tigers have claws, and because that is natural, because that is normal, because everything that has a light has a shadow, and everything that has light and shadow can find balance. So there's kind of this energy of knowing that it is the way that it's supposed to be. So the taste that you leave behind in other people's mouths is that you are very innovative, first and foremost. You know exactly what you're doing. You have a very strong intuition, and it's always leading you down creating new things, new adventures, new opportunities. You're always in the right place at the right time. You're also not afraid to kind of like switch up a little bit or be authentically you, but also be the energy that is needed from you in that situation. For example, are you laying on your back? Are you searching for food? Are you pulling out your claws? Are you protecting your cubs? There's kind of this energy like that. So you'll always be kind of the version of you that you've learned how to be in every situation while being authentic to the fact that you're a tiger. You can be multidimensional. And we have, again, number 10, it's like you've learned a lot of your karmic lessons. We have karmic and then 10. So you've completed a lot of your karmic lessons, and it gave you the wisdom because you remember from them. And it's created this kind of energy of knowing that you can almost shapeshift or transform or take any shape that is necessary of you because you're confident in that. It's like you might have really strong manifestation abilities, because you're really confident in yourself. You might be like a really good leader because you're confident in yourself. You could be a really good doctor because you're confident in yourself. You might, instead of making the safe choice, you make the accurate choice that may have been a bit riskier to acquire. Okay. And that is also part of why this energy that's coming through, it's intuitive, it's protective, it's a little bit intimidating, but it's only intimidating because it's willing to take the risk in order to be accurate. It doesn't play it safe. It's a tiger and it knows it's a tiger. That doesn't mean it doesn't have other aspects to it, but just don't try to declaw it. Okay, the taste you leave behind in other people's mouths. You have the Six of Wands. You, with the blessing magnet, okay, you've definitely made some sort of like success, and success means whatever it means to you, okay? You can Google it, okay? You can listen to a million tarot readers. You can find a guru. Success means what it means to you. There are a million definitions of that out there, but whatever success means to someone else, whoever's energy is reading your essence, they see you as successful. Whatever that means to them, whatever that means to you, all right? And there's also this energy where you might have, with the High Priestess, ooh, like very intuitive, and this is coming up behind the deck with the blessing magnet. It's like okay, I see. The taste you leave behind in other people's mouths is that you are way more intuitive than you lead people to believe, and people already see you as intuitive. You are way more abundant than people are currently believing, and people are already believing that you're abundant. You have way more light and wisdom than you're sharing, way more magic, way more confidence than you're sharing. That's where this energy of holding yourself back a little bit is coming in. Because it's, don't forget I'm a tiger, and I'll roll on my back, and you can see my belly, and we can cuddle, and all that cute stuff. But there's a reason I have to remind you that I'm a tiger, and we're just going to leave it there. So with the Six of Wands, the Ten of Coins, and the Eight of Cups, the taste that you leave behind in people's mouths is that you're almost always on to the next, because we have 10-10, okay? Because when your intuition tells you to jump, you're going to jump. But at the same time, you are always present. They're saying again to me, remembering is wisdom. And we have genetic memory here. There's an energy here between, like you can read a million books and start learning a ton of things, but when you remember something, when you learn something through experience, that's how you gain wisdom. And knowledge and wisdom are two sides to the same coin, kind of like we were talking about with your energy here. You have the knowledge and you have the wisdom, but you lean on your wisdom, and the fact that you have that wisdom is kind of what makes you a tiger. It's like someone didn't tell you you were a tiger. You've been a tiger your whole life. There's this energy where the taste you leave behind in people's mouths is you are successful. You are always where you're supposed to be. You seem to always be where you want to be in life, which is kind of cool. I love that for you. And you're also always on to something new, something next. It's like you always have something up your sleeve. And at first, I'm getting people may have been trying to guess what that is. But when they deep dive, they just see, no, there's more to this. There's always more. No matter how deep they dive, there's always more. Whether it's through magic, or whether it's through confidence, or whether it's wisdom, or whether it's knowledge, whether it's intuition, whether it's abundance, whether it's what you've learned, what you've been through. And so 10 of Coins, it does indicate being content. It indicates a happy, healthy home life. It indicates, contentment in a positive way, just being good. Being comfortable, being happy. And yes, there's success, but what is success if there's no happiness? What is success and happiness if you're not letting the energy flow and shift and change? And so there's this energy too where you're highly detached. You're highly detached to whether or not the same energy, like you're a tiger, you don't want to be in a zoo. You love when people come up and interact with you. You don't mind if the same person doesn't interact with you twice. You don't mind if the same person interacts with you every day. You also don't mind being released into the wild and like taking care of a whole group of other animals or whatever. It's like you know how to be whatever is required of you in every situation, and there's always more where that came from. And so it's really interesting for the people around you to understand the taste that you leave behind ultimately is that there's always more where that came from. You are a force to be reckoned with, but in a good way, okay? Very, very powerful, and also a bit under, like, I'm hearing overprotected, again, by Britney Spears. So there's kind of an energy where your essence is a bit like understated. It's always understated towards what it really is. And it always kind of surprises people when they see you in your power, in your essence, because it's almost like you keep it to yourself a little bit. So with the 10 of coins, it's like you're happy, you know who you are, you know where you are, but you also always have your reasons. And so it keeps people guessing, it keeps people a little bit intimidated, and it also lets them know that like nothing is permanent, because nothing is permanent in life. And the tiger is kind, the tiger is loving, but it's also detached. So the taste that you leave behind in other people's mouths, group number 3, is that you are fine where you are, and there's kind of this, you're intuitive, you remember, you've been around long enough, you have enough, you do enough, you are enough. It's just kind of, you're content, and it's fine. And so there's kind of this detached energy where you know that you stand out, and you might even understate the reasons why you stand out, but there's no part of you that's trying to fit in with the crowd. There's no part of you that's trying to be like a house cat when you're a tiger, and that doesn't mean that tigers can't be house cats. It just means that you still know you're a tiger, and that is the essence that you leave behind, the taste you leave in other people's mouths. If you like this reading, please like, comment, subscribe, share. Also go check out Tay's reading in the description box below about why you are hypnotic, alluring, magnetic, all those beautiful things. And I hope this helps shed love, light, and clarity on your situation. As always, I'm sending you so much love, light, and gratitude, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful realm. Namaste.